All right, welcome to the explainer. So, OpenAI just dropped a bombshell, their next-gen model, GPT-5. And look, they're not just calling it an update, they're framing this as one of the biggest leaps in AI ever. So today, we're going to dig in and figure out what that actually means.
Yeah, and right out of the gate, the CEO, Sam Altman, he really set the stage. He said it's like talking to a legitimate PhD-level expert in anything. So this isn't just a small step up. The whole idea here is that this AI has hit a totally new level of smarts, and it's there for you whenever you need it for pretty much any topic.
So, to really get what they're saying, let's look at this analogy they use for the whole announcement. Think of it like this. GPT-3, that was kind of like a high school student. You know, sometimes brilliant, but also kind of annoying and not always reliable. Then you had GPT-4o, which was more like a college student, genuinely useful. But now, GPT-5, they're saying this is your own personal PhD expert.
Okay, so PhD-level expert sounds great, right? But what does that actually mean under the hood? What makes it so much smarter? Well, let's get into the nitty-gritty, because they came with the receipts. They showed a ton of data to back this whole thing up.
Okay, first step, let's talk coding. On this benchmark called SW Bench, which tests how well it handles real-world software problems, GPT-5 just blew the old scores out of the water. And this isn't just some abstract test score, you know? It means the model is getting way, way better at tackling the really messy, complicated coding challenges that real developers deal with every single day.
And it's not just about code. There's also this huge leap in something called multimodal reasoning. That's basically its ability to look at images and text together and actually understand what's going on. And on this specific test, the MMU benchmark, GPT-5 isn't just better than older AIs, it's actually scoring higher than most human experts. That's a big deal.
And then there's math. We're talking pure, complex mathematical reasoning. It crushed this exam called Amy. And just to give you some perspective, this is a super tough competition they use to find the kids who are going to go on to the International Math Olympiad. So this isn't just simple arithmetic. It shows it can handle really complicated, multi-step problems. So you take the coding, the reasoning, the math, you put it all together, and what do you get? Well, the most important takeaway is that this model is just way more reliable. It's more accurate, and crucially, it's less likely to just make stuff up. You know, that hallucination problem that's been a massive headache for AIs? They're saying they've made a huge dent in that. Okay, so test scores are great. They look good on a chart. But what does all this new brain power actually look like when you use it? Let's check out what this PhD expert can do in the real world.
And yeah, that's exactly what the live demos were all about. Showing, not just telling.
One of the coolest moments for me was this one. Someone just asks for a quick explanation of a physics concept, the Bernoulli effect. Okay, simple enough. But then they say, hey, can you make me an interactive demo of that? And bam. In like 2 minutes, GPT-5 thinks it through, spits out almost 400 lines of code, and creates this slick, working visual demo from nothing. Just incredible. And check this out, because it shows the jump in creativity so well. They asked it to write a little eulogy for the older models. GPT-4o's version, it was fine, you know, a bit generic. But GPT-5 came back with something that had real rhythm, real nuance. It got personal, saying it helped millions soften emails and say things they could not quite say alone. It's like it went from a boilerplate template to a writing partner with some actual emotional intelligence. Okay, so with all this incredible new power, there's always the big question, right? Responsibility. How do you handle this safely? And OpenAI spent a good bit of time on this, talking about some major changes to safety. And this is a big one. Who actually gets to use it? So they've got this new safety system they're calling safe completion. And the idea is, instead of just hitting you with that frustrating, sorry, I can't help with that wall when you ask for something that's a bit borderline, it tries to do something smarter. It tries to be as helpful as it can within those safety limits. So it might explain why it can't give you exactly what you asked for, and then try to guide you to a better, safer way to get what you need. And who are they giving this new, safer model to? Well, basically, everyone. Get this.
ChatGPT now has something like 700 million people using it every single week. That is a staggering number, and this is where things get really interesting. For the very first time, OpenAI is giving away its best, most powerful model, GPT-5, to its free users right away. Now, if you're a Plus or Pro user, you'll get higher limits, and businesses will get access next week. But putting the top-of-the-line model in the hands of everyone for free, that's a massive shift in making this tech accessible.
So why does any of this really matter? Better code, better math, that's all great. But what's the human impact? The last part of the launch event really tried to answer that very question. And honestly, one of the most moving moments was hearing from a woman named Carolina Milan. She told this story about getting her biopsy results online, and the only words she could understand were invasive carcinoma. And she said, I knew that was not good. She just completely panicked, took a screenshot of the report, and fed it to ChatGPT. And she said that within seconds, the AI just broke down all that scary, complex medical jargon into plain English she could actually understand. And later, when she was facing this huge treatment decision and her doctors didn't even agree on the best path, she used the AI as a sort of sounding board. It helped her weigh the pros and cons, and ultimately she said it helped her make a decision that she felt good about, that she felt informed about, at a time when the stakes just couldn't have been higher for her and her family. And it goes way beyond just these powerful personal stories. This PhD expert is already changing how whole industries work. You've got companies like Amgen in life sciences using it to speed up drug design. In finance, BBVA is taking financial analysis that used to take weeks and doing it in hours. And in healthcare, Oscar Health is using it to help with clinical reasoning. The common thread here? It's all about tackling massive complexity at a speed that was just unimaginable before. And they wrapped up the whole launch by kind of turning the tables and putting the question back on us. They basically said, look, we've built this incredibly powerful thing. It's like having a whole team of experts in your pocket on demand. So the real question now isn't just about what they've built, it's about what you are going to build with it. What will you create with this new superpower?